All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. We got a special show for you in store tonight. We got a very special co-host, a good friend of mine, and I'm proud to say I'm glad to be back with his show. He works for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's been doing his show for 5 years. I'm glad to be a part of it. Tampa Bay Thunder Strikers. Go ahead and check it out. We'll get more into that after our interviews and after the show. But I'm glad to be a part of him and his family over there. Joe DeAngelo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Byron, and thank you, Sports Bay Show, Byron and Eric. I'm Joe DeAngelo. I am the founder and president and CEO of the Tampa Bay Thunder Strikers, an official Tampa Bay Lightning fan club, diehard. We are also a nonprofit organization for Tampa Bay area. More than happy to be on the show and working with my buddy. And this is fine for me being a co-host. Not what I usually am. Not usually a number 2 or a number 3. And whoa, wait a second here.
Gotta get into the action, right?
I'm gonna get some attention.
Yep.
It's the females, because my boy right here, he's laying down, he's watching his daddy do the show, and he's not requiring attention. Meanwhile, my female cat, she's decided that she's going to sit here and stare at me.
Of course, that's what they do best.
She's right outside of the camera, but she's giving me her paw right now. She's nibbling on Daddy's fingers.
But yeah,
this is a family show, folks. This is a family show.
It is.
Byron's got a family. He's got kids and a wife, and it's all good. Meanwhile, me, I'm just a I'm just a guy that has a girl cat that likes to nibble on his finger.
But yeah, we got a great show in store for you guys tonight. We got former MLB pitcher Bobby Livingston, and pitched for the Mariners and the Reds for a couple seasons. Appeared in 13 games, and we got on pre and post game show host for the Padres, and a radio host for their flagship station over there in San Diego, Chris Ello. I can't wait to talk Padres baseball with him. I had on Stephen Woods last week, as you all remember. So I'm glad to talk San Diego Padres baseball with any Padre fan. But let's start off on an unfortunate note, but it's also going to be a happy note because I know it will be in good hands. Tonight's show, like I said, and I did that video. Tonight's show is the final show I am doing for 2 months. I am taking a 2-month hiatus. I got stuff I need to do around the house, with the kids, with the wife. So I just need to take some time off, take a couple months off. So follow the Tampa Bay Thunder Strikers. I'll still be on that Tuesday night. So I'm going to make an announcement on the future endeavors of the show. But for tonight, though, I can tell you that it's going to be in good hands with my co-host tonight, Joe DeAngelo. He's going to take over for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure, if I'm going to be broadcasting from the Thunder Strikers casa here, I will be, every once in a while, you will see my co-host here at the house wanting attention and biting my fingers just like we first came on the air.
That's right. That's right. But first, let's get right to it before we get our guest. Since we are talking baseball, got a heavy loaded baseball show, but we will talk some Lightning. Not going to thread from there either. We will talk that. But what about your Yankees? 7-game losing streak, man. What's going on? What's going on?
The actual losing streak is over. The Tampa Bay Rays are in first place by 3.5 games as we speak right now. That's not a lot.
That's not a lot. Nope.
Both teams are handicapped with a lot of injuries. I understand that the Rays are down a lot of pitchers. We have
10 to be exact.
That's a lot.
It is.
But when you look on the other side of the coin, we have our best hitters. I mean, right now we're fielding a AAA lineup right now against all the teams.
You are, and look at what you're doing. Yeah. Judge is out. Stanton's out. Yeah, Britton's out.
Yeah, that's our second best reliever. Luckily, we got Chapman back, but DJ LeMahieu
is out.
Yep. He finally came back. He was in the lineups today when we swept the Mets. So we're back. We're slowly getting our guys back. The Rays lead for now. We'll see what happens. We still have plenty of games left in this ridiculous 60-game season, which I don't favor. I don't like the idea of 60 games, and I don't like it at all, but it is what it is. And if we want to see our teams play baseball, this is what we have to do. This is what we're forced to do, is to watch half a season.
Yeah, I don't like it either, but yeah, if it was the only way to do it, then yeah, I mean, that's how we had to do it. But I agree with you. The Rays made some moves today, getting rid of Jose Martinez. But we got I forget who it was in return for him, but I just don't think he was. I think he wanted to be here, yes, but I just don't think he pretty much got the gist here. He wasn't really doing so hot. But he's gone. I think we got a couple other moves we're going to be making because we do need help in the pitching department with 10 guys going out. Morton I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. We've got a lot of guys. Colin Pache's out for the year. Fairbanks is out for the year. I mean, it's a who's who of plethora of injuries. And our closer is probably going to be out for the year too, Nick Anderson. I mean, ouch. So, and he was a big key component in that Marlins trade last year. So, it's going to be tough, but we need it. Do you see your team, the Yankees, making any moves? Because I don't think they've made any yet so far.
Oh, absolutely. We're in the market for a number 2 starter behind the greatest pitcher in baseball right now. So we're definitely you're going to see us make a move. We're going to pick up maybe a deal with Cleveland and get one of their starting pitchers. And we're definitely going to be active with the Yankees. We have more money than any other team. And, they always talk about how we buy World Series and everything. Well, truth of the matter is we haven't won a World Series in quite a while.
Yeah, since 2009.
Yeah, we are due. So, I say I don't like the fact that, it's an asterisk. The Islanders just goal for the Islanders, 1-0 Islanders.
Good for your team. Yeah, your other team. Wow.
Yes, I closely follow, as everybody knows. If they don't know me by now, I don't know where where they've been buried in the sand. My shows are on all the time. A huge follower of the NHL, an Islanders fan and a Bolts fan till I die. So I do cover both teams, the Islanders and the Lightning. And like I said, the Islanders are up 1-0. It's early in the game yet, but still. Count on it. The Yankees will definitely make a move, and it's going to be a fight to the finish. I didn't expect the Yankees to run away with anything. This is not a 162-game season. It's only a 60-game season. So
right.
It's really an interesting run to the finish to see who's going to finish first. But you know what? It doesn't matter because whoever comes in first, they're going to have a tougher time.
Exactly. But now let's get right to it. It's going on 9:30, so let's get to our first guest. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Let's get into Bobby Livingston. I'm going to call him right now. We are going to chat it up with him and talk some baseball with him, see if he's still following it, which I'm pretty sure he is. Come on, a former pitcher, you would think he would be following, right?
I think so.
Been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 3148.
Alright, he didn't answer for now, so I'm going to try and call him one more time. And we will see if it'll work.
Okay.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Oh, wow.
31480772.
Alright, well, I'm going to try texting him real quick, but let's get into the Bolts. What a game the other night. I couldn't believe how well they played. I couldn't. I mean, I knew they had it in them, but I didn't think it was going to be, because we can't doubt Boston. You know, they're a good team. And their two backup goalies, I figured probably would get them in trouble. Because like we said on Tuesday's show, when we did the show, it's defense that wins championships, and the goalie is kind of the main part in that. So that does not really help. So I can see us definitely winning this series next game, can't you? With no help from their goalies whatsoever. I can see it.
Let's be realistic. I mean, Rask is not in there. That's a tremendous disadvantage right off the bat that Rask is not starting goaltender because of his family obligations, which is understandable. He wants to be with his family. So Halak is in there as the backup goaltender. And, you know, he used to be a starting goaltender for my New York Islanders, so I'm familiar with him in his past. However, Halak is a backup goaltender right now, and they're using the hell out of him right now, and they're putting huge expectations on him, and there's no reliable, dependable, experienced backup goaltender behind him. So basically it's, you know, you win with Halak or you're going to get blown out, because that's what happened the last game. They just totally dominated the Bruins. Right now they have so much momentum. I'd be shocked if Boston wins another game, but if they do, my prediction was Bolts in 6, and you know, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but maybe Boston gets their legs together and they support Halak a little bit better and they win the next game. But I don't see them winning the series.
I don't either.
It's either going to be 5 or like I said, Bolts at 6.
I especially too, we're not taking stupid penalties like we were in the Columbus series. Our play is spot on. Our defense is. We're not allowing them to take much shots. Helping Vasi out, which is a plus, because we can't be having him take 50, 60 shots a game, because that ain't going to survive in the playoffs when you're not helping out the goaltender. So our play is just spot on. Palat, 2 goals. He's on fire right now. I mean, you can't stop anybody on our team right now. Braden Point, who's leading the scoring, it's crazy good right now. It's like, I know Stamkos is our captain, but it's not like we're missing him. Alright, hold on here. He's calling. Hey, Bobby, welcome to the Sports Space Show. How are you tonight?
Yeah, my man. Sorry about that. I guess I went through a bad area.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, welcome to the show. I hope you guys are staying. I hope you and your family are staying safe out there in these troubled times.
Oh, we are, man. So I'm not too worried about the COVID.
Yeah, neither are we. So.
Yeah, we're out in West Texas, so there's not much going on as far as riots and whatnot here.
Yeah, that's true. So let's hop right to it. I know unfortunately you only pitched 13 games in the majors, pitched 61 innings, but I gotta tell you, what was that experience like pitching in the majors for that short period of time?
cutting in and out, buddy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I know. Unfortunately, your major league time was short, with only pitching 13 games and 61 innings. But what was that experience like pitching in the majors?
I was awesome, man. It was everything of course I thought it would be. Growing up as somebody who was a baseball advocate and lover, and somebody that who's got to chase his childhood dream, and by the grace of God, it got to come true.
So take us through when you first got called up. What was it like being called up for that first game, knowing that you were going to pitch your first game, and the team that you were going to face, which I forget who you faced. I know you were on the Reds, but I forget the team. Help us refresh our memory who you faced.
It was actually with Seattle, and we were playing the White Sox.
Okay, sorry. I knew it was somewhere, because, yeah.
Yeah, but, no, I remember, I think I threw 12 shutout innings prior to getting called up. I think my last start prior to getting called up was against the Sacramento River Cats, which was the Oakland A's AAA at the time. And then I just remember getting back to Tacoma, and then Dick Brundage called me in the office. Dwight Bernard was our pitching coach, and just let me know that I was getting called up. So, but I wasn't going up to start. I was going to be thrown out of the bullpen, which was kind of surreal because at that point in time, I'd never had a bullpen appearance my whole career and/or high school career. So it was kind of a little out of sorts just due to the fact that, that whole routine's completely separate than a starting routine. But it is what it was, and just made the best of it.
Go ahead, Joe.
There?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Bobby, did you ever face the Yankees?
Yes, I did. In spring training in 07, I threw against Giambi, their whole, the big head honchos there in Tampa for a nightcap. I threw 3-inning shutout against the old Yankees. Giambi in the back with a curveball and punched A-Rod out on 3 pitches.
Hey,
I still remember that like that was yesterday.
Hey, whenever you can punch out those steroid guys, right? I mean, that had to be awesome.
Yeah, man, I could care less about that. I mean, you still got to hit the ball, but yeah, I mean, you had guys that were pitching taking steroids too. So I mean, that wasn't like, it's, if you're not trying to get an advantage, and when you got multi-millions on the line, like, I can understand why you'd want to do something like that, you know what I'm saying? Not that I'm condoning it, but I mean, I get the gist of having to keep up with somebody, somebody like A-Rod who started their career off so hot. So he was a baller, and then, having to keep that persona.
So then let me ask you,
top player in the big leagues.
So then let me ask you, since you were a pitcher in the majors, what did you think of Joe Kelly's suspension of 8 games in a 60-game season for throwing at the Astros? Do you think that was fair or foul?
I personally thought it was just kind of tired because, I don't know, me and a lot of other guys that played are kind of old school, just kind of think the game has kind of gotten soft. I mean, even from, not even being able to slide. If you make any type of contact with anybody now, it's a big old deal. And, if you do, then it's, the whole concept of somebody going after somebody's knees or something like that comes into play. It's just like, dude, look at YouTube Albert Bell knocking over Jose Vina at second base. You want to talk about full contact? That's full contact. But, it's just a kind of a trickle effect because I work with a bunch of youth kids and then, USSSA baseball and, that whole deal with youth baseball. It's the same deal. It's like, you got kids running in on a bang-bang play, and how are you going to stop all that inertia when a kid weighs 180 pounds and it's a bang-bang, and, they're trying to reach, and then they try to pull up, and then you end up having contact, and then one of your guys gets thrown out, all over that, when, it's like, hey, you can't, touch anybody. It's just, I just kind of think it's just tired, honestly.
You got another question, Joe?
I'd do anything for the game of baseball. That's my personal belief. I'm more old school when it comes to that, but I just don't think it does anything for the game of baseball long term.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
And if you don't want to get thrown at, then don't do stuff like that. I mean, that's just kind of common sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
I mean, you feel how many people, just if you're a player, I mean, how would you feel getting cheated out of something like that?
No, I know. I agree.
You always gotta wear both. You gotta always swap the shoe on both individuals' feet and walk them all in their shoe before you can. I think you should criticize, but that's here nor there with social media these days.
No, I totally agree with you on that. I do. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead,
Joe.
Joe.
I mean, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I mean, just keep playing, and obviously the game is changing year to year. And I mean, even when I was playing, I got to see both ends of the spectrum with it. Seeing a lot of the older guys that were still making $1 million in AAA, and then the whole market crashing in 2008, and then kind of seeing how guys started going towards younger and getting rid of the older guys, and guys that have been around for a while having a job to not having a job. So I mean, I got to see both spectrums of it.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was just wondering what years Bobby pitched. I've been following baseball. I go back. I watched my team win 7 World Series out of the 27. I'm obviously a Yankee fan, born in New York, but I go back a ways, and I loved old school baseball. And like you, I'm an old school diehard. Just was wondering, what years did you pitch?
So I came up with Seattle. I was drafted in the 4th round in 2001. Pitched, got called up in 2006 with them. Went over to Cincinnati 07, 08. I tore my labrum, and then ended up going to big league camp in 09 with the Orioles. Went to AA, AAA with them at a camp, and then went over to the Mets 2010. AAA there. Went to big league camp with them. Didn't pitch very good. Ended up finishing the season with Tampa, and then went overseas for a couple of years.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
There you go. That's the way to play. If you can't, I mean, if you feel your time's up in the majors, that's the way to play. You got to do what you got to do, right, to make money.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially when you can get a contract just as good as what you can get over here. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Right. So now I gotta ask you, since you played in your old school like the rest of us here. I'm a Padre fan myself, but I kind of I want to say I'm a little ticked off about the way the national media is put on Fernando Tatis after he hit that grand slam on that 3-0 pitch.
Yeah.
When they were up a lot by, I think it was 10 plus runs. It was 11-4, I think, at the time, and they bashed him for hitting 3-0. The Rangers manager threw at Machado the next game. Well, no, that very same game, and they ended up tossing them two. What is your take on that? What's up with these unwritten rules in baseball? I'm not quite understanding why Fernando is getting all the heat that he did for that.
I don't either. I think that's a new thing, because an unwritten rule in baseball that didn't exist when I played it. Your unwritten rules in baseball were not being up 10 runs and then stealing a base, something like that. But no, I mean, as somebody that did pitch, I mean, that was always a possibility if you're just going to groove one down the middle for someone to crank one on you. So I mean, that's dumb for number one, being in a competitive sport, thinking you're supposed to just back off a plan when that's what you're getting paid to do. That's what I'm saying. It's the whole mentality of that soft culture, and it being don't offend anyone or upset anyone, and because that's not right. And who's to say? I mean, who's saying that what he did was incorrect? He was doing what he gets paid to do.
Yeah.
Not to mention, he didn't pull the ball. He hit the ball 420 foot in So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to say anything, I mean, that's a good piece of hitting, and you just tip your hat. But, I mean, you just had days like that. But I think that's absurd to, like, turn around and throw at somebody because your pitcher threw a bad pitch on a 3-0. You're getting annihilated anyway. So,
Exactly.
I just think it's completely, I think it's completely absurd, and I think it's just kind of letting your team know that, like, hey, you know, we're sucking today, and I guess we're going to continue to suck. So I don't have any faith in you guys to, you know, be down however many runs we're down, and then, you know, give up a 3-0 pitch. I mean, if they would have popped the ball up, they wouldn't have said anything.
And I agree with you. I mean, if the pitcher made a bad pitch, I mean, you're just going to tell somebody just to take and not hit it? Like, seriously?
Well, not only that, like, the Rangers know that those big old thick scouting reports that we get on who's hot, who's not, what they swing at early in the count, what they don't. Are they going to take 3-0? Are they 3-0 swingers? They knew all that prior, too. So if they knew he was a 3-0 hacker or a guy that ambushed Ello, then instead of throwing a 3-0 fastball, you should have thrown a 3-0 breaking ball.
Right.
So, I mean,
yeah,
make a better pitch.
That's what I'm saying.
Assumption, not blame the hitter. That's, you know, if you don't like it, pitch better. You don't want to give up grand slams. Make a better pitch, as Norm Charlton would say.
Right.
People like the minor leagues, pitch better.
Right, exactly. I agree. You pitch better, pitch a whole hell of a lot better. I agree.
But that's the thing nowadays, man. Everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else instead of point the finger at themselves and take responsibility for their own actions. They want to blame somebody else for something. And I think that's what's wrong with not only baseball today, but society in general. They're always looking to, like, cast the blame onto somebody else instead of taking responsibility themselves.
Right. So now I got to ask you about the season then. Before we let you go here, I got to ask you, what do you think of the 60-game schedule, and what do you think is going to be the outcome at the end when they get the playoffs all going with these extra playoff teams?
I think it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, other than my buddies playing, I don't really watch. I mean, of course, I'm always an avid fan, so I always check in on, like, the highlights and see what's going on and keep up. But, I mean, I don't sit around and watch it. But I think it's obviously going to be interesting. And I know they're doing something different with the roster as well. So I think, like, teams like New York, I know Philly has a good team. But, you know, I think the Dodgers or the Yankees are going to probably be the teams to beat, both NL and AL. So just, you know, seeing what their records are, especially the Yankees lineup, their lineup is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. They are.
I don't know, man. So is the Dodgers. So, you know, you never know. And I think getting rid of the pitcher hitting has helped, obviously, both leagues as well. But I've always thought they should get rid of us pitchers hitting anyway for a long time. But
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think it makes the game more interesting, and, you know, more runs are scored, and people are going to, you know, the 1-0 ball games are fun to watch when you have a really good pitcher throwing, but for the majority of the time, I think if you want to speed the game up, I think, you know, just allowing a DH in the National League would help that. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I agree too. I totally agree. I think, to be honest with you though, I think we have so many guys injured right now, and Rays too. It's going to be closer than I thought. I don't think the Yankees are going to run away with it. You know, with it being 60 games, anything can happen, and that's the thing. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. The Orioles were even in contention there for a little while, and they were hammering, and they were over 500, which for them is incredible. But you know, it looks like they're running out of gas right now. They've lost a couple of games and
3 in a row.
A little bit behind the Red Sox now. I mean, the Red Sox were in last place, but the Red Sox are only like 2 or 3 games out of 5th place in the division. So I think it's going to be a tight finish. But I think the Yankees are going to go out and they're going to go get another starter, because we really need somebody to be a number 2 behind the best pitcher in baseball. And we all know who that is.
Yeah, cool. Well, that kid that they had starting, I think it was Garcia, the young kid, that 21-year-old today, he looked pretty good.
Garcia.
Watched him throw today.
Delvey, I think.
That guy has some good stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was very impressive.
I guess it'll just figure out who gets hot during that time, and then, you know, that's just how baseball is. Baseball's a weird sport, so I guess whoever gets hot during those last few weeks, I think maybe carry over. But I agree with you, man. On a 60-game season, I think it'll be a lot closer, and I think people might be shocked with who comes away with it.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
But we'd like to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to come join us on the show. We appreciate it. You can feel free to give out any of your social media if you want people to follow you or whatnot. And if you would like to tell anybody what you're up to these days, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, so you can follow me on social media, Bobby Livingston, on Facebook, on Instagram, it's at Bobby Livingston Baseball, and then on Twitter, it's at The Real Pitchman. So we got, we're doing a bunch of stuff with youth baseball here in West Texas, the 806, and just trying to pass down my love for the game and teach the kids the right way to play baseball, kind of get away from the daddy ball stuff and really push and develop kids the right way, and get them into college for our older kids. So like this past year, we were 100% sign rate for our seniors, getting them into colleges. And I think over the past 4 years, we've had over 75 kids committed to college through our program. So we're just trying to build on that and impact lives and do it through the game of baseball.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, thank you for joining us again. I'm going to stay in contact with you. I'd definitely love to have you on again in the future when I start up my shows again.
Yes, sir. Anytime, and I appreciate you guys reaching out. And anytime you want to chat baseball, let me know.
Perfect. We will certainly do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, that was an awesome conversation. So now we got it's 9:51. So let's get right to our next guest, San Diego Padres pre- and post-game host Chris Ello. Let's get him on the phone.
Hello.
Hey, Chris. Welcome to the Sports Space Show with Byron and Eric. How are you tonight?
What is up, gentlemen?
I'm so happy to have you on right now as a Padre fan. I had on Stephen Woods last week from the Ben and Woods show. I'm glad to have you on as well to talk some Padres baseball. I'm a huge Padres fan.
We're getting more and more of those.
Oh, I'm not one of these bandwagoners though. I've been since the Tony Gwynn days, so I've been a fan. I was born in '91. I first started watching the Padres when I was 6 years old. That was the year before they went to the World Series.
Yeah, that was pretty good times.
It was.
They might have their best team. They might have their best team now since those days. So who knows?
I know. I can't believe it. The comeback kids. Now you say that, that's my first question. Like, what is it about this team this year that makes them come back like this? They're like, what? I think I saw a stat on the game today that said they were like they were in front of the Rays or behind the Rays in most comeback wins. Like, what is it about this team that gives them that mentality to come back like that?
I think whenever you have a good hitting team and you can score, and I believe they lead all of baseball in runs scored now. So whenever you can score, you can always come back, and it's a nice feeling. And they got a good lineup. They don't really. It seems like they depend on Tatis and Machado, but they really don't. They have good depth all the way through the lineup right now. Everybody's contributing, and I think it's a combination of, having a lot of offense and being able to score runs. And then, the fact that you've had a little success doing it. They had a game last week against the Mariners where they were down 4 runs with 2 outs in the last inning and didn't have anybody on base, and they ended up winning that game. And They've had a couple of other comebacks this year where they've gotten a tying run or the go-ahead run with 2 outs in the 9th inning. So, if you can score runs, you can always come back. You're never out of a game. And I think, it's funny people talk about pitching all the time, and I think pitching is important and defense and all those things. But if you can score runs, you're always right there. You always have a shot. And this team can do it.
So now I gotta ask you, with the additions that the Padres made today and yesterday with Trevor Rosenthal from Kansas City, Mitch Moreland from the Red Sox, and I believe a catcher, right, from the Angels, the former Houston Astro, I believe.
Jason Castro.
Yeah, Jason Castro. Which one of those additions are you looking forward most to really helping this team?
Well, I think you get stronger where you're stronger, and I think Mitch Moreland is going to be fantastic as a designated hitter. They really haven't had a lot of production from that spot this year. That's one of the spots they haven't had production, and now they have another just really, really good hitter. So, their lineup, from, number 1 all the way down. Their number 1 guy is Trent Grisham, and he's a guy who's hit 8 home runs already this year, and then you got Tatis and Machado back-to-back, and then you got Hosmer's got 7 home runs, and then you got Will Myers who's having a great comeback season.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the people down in Tampa remember what he did, but that was a long time ago. He hasn't done that in San Diego.
No, he hasn't.
Until this year.
Mm-mm.
And Jake Cronenworth is going to probably be the Rookie of the Year, and he's in that lineup, and now you add Mitch Moreland. So I think that's the guy I'm the most excited about. The guy they probably need to do the best is Trevor Rosenthal. Their bullpen has been, injured with the loss of Kirby Yates for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can, if Trevor Rosenthal pitches like he, in September, like he did in August with Kansas City, then they're gonna be tough to beat, because that's really been the one weak link this team has had this year is their bullpen coughing up leads late in games. And if he can come in and nail down the 9th inning, then they're gonna have a chance. They're gonna make the playoffs, but I'm saying once they get there, they're gonna have a chance.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, how you doing? This is Joe D'Angelo. I cover the Tampa Bay sports, but I'm originally from New York, and I grew up a Yankee fan and been a Yankee fan since the 60s. I go back a ways. It's good to see San Diego is back and would be a real contender, and some of these guys that you just added, I'm familiar with. So I wish you guys the best of luck with your season, and go Padres, as my fellow brother here is a huge Padres. I know that for a fact, because every time we get
it's because of your Yankees that this team has been so bad for so many years. That World Series.
Unfortunately, yes. I have to admit that.
Yeah,
yes.
So that I know it's been 22 years since the Yankees beat the Padres in the World Series, but the Yankees have been good since then, and the Padres haven't been good. So I don't know if I can let you off the hook for that one.
But
it's just really good to hear other teams' perspectives. That's why I'm really listening to you guys and talking about the Padres, and it's a good thing. I remember Dave Winfield. I remember some of the older San Diego Padres, and I was a card collector too. And I don't collect cards anymore, but it was a lot of fun collecting baseball cards all through the years when they had talented players. And it's good that they're going to be a serious contender in the National League. And growing up watching the Padres play too is amongst some of the other teams. And I actually like the Padres. It's some of the teams I don't like, which you would imagine, like the Red Sox and teams like that.
And the Mets.
yeah.
And the Rays. I don't like the Rays very much now that they become
the Rays are
a thorn in the Yankees' side.
Yeah, they sure are. And there's a lot of injuries on both teams, to be fair. The Rays have several players. What did you say? How many players? 10 or 10 guys out?
10.
Wow.
10 pitchers.
Yeah, Rays
no Rays practically.
The pitching staff's been decimated.
Yeah.
Well, we're not too far behind. We don't have a number 2, number 3. We're just pitching some kids now. A kid pitched today, a 21-year-old kid, and we won. We swept the series today. But we need to get some of our injured players back. And he asked me if we were going to make a deal. We're definitely going to make a deal. We definitely need to make a deal. We need to get another starter behind our ace, and we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. We got to get over this right now. And time's running out. 60-game season.
I'm not really too worried about the Yankees. They'll be fine. Especially once they get some of their players back, they'll be fine. They'll be right. They'll be one of the teams to beat over there in the American League, and it's kind of like the Dodgers. I mean, if the Dodgers really haven't had any injuries this year, but they're just it's so difficult when you're the Padres to compete against them because they're just so good. And so I think the Padres right now just have to kind of think about second place and just get into the playoffs. And once you get there, take your best shot. So I think they've played the Padres have played the Dodgers 7 times this year, and they've won 3 and lost 4. So they've shown they can play with them, and hopefully they'll get a chance to play them in the playoffs.
Yeah, now that you bring up the Dodgers, God, I'm like you. I can't stand the Dodgers. I'm with you in that boat. I gotta ask you though, unfortunately, what's it going to take to finally get them over the hump of beating the Dodgers for first place? What's going to happen there?
Well, it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen this year. I mean, the Dodgers have a 5-game lead, and there's only about 20 games to go. So, I mean, the Dodgers are going to win the division this year, and they're just better. I mean, they have better players, and I don't know if they have a lot better players, but they've just been doing this a little longer. I mean, they've been in the World Series 2 of the last 3 years, and all their guys are, battle tested, and the whole team has been together for so long. So, I mean, I think for the Padres to get to a point where they can actually beat the Dodgers and finish in first place, they're just going to need some more time together with this team, and couple of their young pitchers, Mackenzie Gore and Luis Patino, have to, rise up and join the ranks of the starting rotation with Chris Paddock and Dinelson Lamet, and then all of a sudden you'll have yourself, one of the better rotations in the National League, and you'll have a chance to compete with the Dodgers. But it doesn't mean that this season they can't compete with them. I mean, again, the playoffs are a totally different thing. It's a short series, and I think, like I said, the Padres are going to be in the playoffs, the Dodgers are going to be in the playoffs, and hopefully for the Padres' sake, they get a chance to play them.
Right.
Then they could, in a short series, Washington beat the Dodgers last year and went on and won the World Series. So you never can tell what can happen once you get in, but I don't think there's any chance they'll catch them for first place this year. The Dodgers is too good and too far ahead.
Now, I also want to ask you this too, because I know you also, since you are the pre and post game host for them, I do gotta ask you. I know, I heard Don and Mudcat said it best on air. It takes a lot in place for it to happen. 4 straight games in a row. Slam Diego. What a record. I cannot believe that. One of few records you could ever break in baseball is that one. Man, how awesome was that? Seeing that 4 consecutive nights in a row. It goes into play.
That was definitely exciting, and I think it was just one of those things where everything fell into place, and somehow it happened. I remember when they got to the 4th game and the bases got loaded there, and Hosmer came up, and I think everybody said there's no way he's going to hit a home run, and of course he hits a home run, and they get another grand slam. That was amazing. I think in the history of I think they hit 6 grand slams in the month of August.
Yes, they did,
and that's the most that anybody's ever hit in 1 month. So the reason, one of the reasons they're, hitting so many grand slams is, once again, they have a really good offense, and they have a lot of guys on base. And, when they're hitting their home runs, they're hitting them with runners on base. And, they're second in baseball in home runs. I think only the Dodgers have more home runs than the Padres do. And so if you hit a lot of home runs, and you got a lot of guys who can walk and get on base, you're going to get the opportunities. But to hit a grand slam in 4 straight games, and that's pretty crazy when you think about it. It's never happened before in the history of baseball. So
no.
And there's been a lot of pretty good teams out there before the Padres. So I think this was just kind of, honestly, I put it right alongside the fact that the Padres as a franchise have never pitched a no-hitter. That doesn't mean that they've never had any good pitchers. They just have never had the luck of pitching a no-hitter. But they did have the luck of hitting a grand slam in 4 straight games. So something crazy happens, and a lot of crazy stuff happens in baseball, and this one was in favor of the Padres.
I'm still waiting for that. We need that no-hitter. That's one thing off our backs we need to get accomplished.
Yeah, most people think that Nelson Lamet will probably be the guy that does it. He's had a no-hitter into the 7th inning this year, and he's had a no-hitter into the 6th inning this year. So he's come close a couple times already this year. And Paddock has a chance maybe to throw a no-hitter. So, but you know what's funny about a no-hitter is that a lot of times it happens by somebody you least expect to do it. So,
right.
You know, it's one of those crazy things. I mean, the Mets finally got a no-hitter with Johan Santana about 5 years ago, and then Johan Santana never pitched another game again, I don't think, after that.
No, he didn't.
So,
nope, he was never the same.
You never can tell. It's not worth breaking a pitcher's arm down just to get a no-hitter, but it would be fun to have one. And we think about it, but, you know, it's not something you're worried. Let's put it this way. If the Padres could go to the World Series, or if they could have a no-hitter, I think. We want a parade in San Diego. We've never had one before. We never had one in the NFL, and we'd love to have one for baseball. So, of course, nowadays with the coronavirus, they probably wouldn't let us have a parade.
Probably not. Yeah, unfortunately.
That would be ironic.
But I got to ask you though. This is just my opinion. This is the most. I gotta say, together team, the most together team that I've seen the Padres ever have. Since your time with the Padres, and since you being a fan of the Padres, would you agree with me, or was there another team that you would think would outdo this year's team in togetherness?
Yeah. It's hard to say. The reason it's hard to answer the question is because we haven't had any access to the team this year. You know, I mean, we don't have, even in the media, pregame, postgame, it doesn't really matter. We don't get to talk to any of the players except on a Zoom call.
Right.
So, we know the players, and it is definitely a great bunch of guys. But as far as, how close they are, they all say they're very close together, but it's hard to really get a real read on that because we're not down there in the locker room. We don't spend any time with this team. And it's been very strange covering a team that you don't get to talk to. But that's just the way it goes this year in baseball. So, that 1998 team was pretty tight. And we did, on our talk show, we did a lot of interviews this year during the break in baseball. We went back and did about 15 interviews with players from that 1998 team that went to the World Series. And those guys all still keep in touch, and they have chat groups, and they have Facebook accounts, and they FaceTime live with each other. And so that's a pretty close-knit group right there. That's, like I said, it's 22 years ago. Yet those guys on that 98 team all still talk to each other. So, winning has a way of bringing everybody together like that. So I'd say that's probably the most together team, but this has a chance to be the most together team. It just depends what kind of success they can go on and have here in the next year or two.
And I know out of the many arms we have out there right now, Patino, Pomeranz, Guerra, who's a converted shortstop, Strom, Stammen. Who do you think out there in the bullpen is the scariest to hitters? Most scariest to hitters?
I think right now it's Pomeranz. He's only given up 2 hits the whole season. So, this guy's been unbelievable pickup that they got from free agency. And the funny thing is Pomeranz actually was with the Padres at one time.
Yes,
and then they traded him to the Red Sox. Now they have him back. But he's only given up 2 hits all year. So he's been absolutely unhittable. And I think hopefully with the addition of Rosenthal now, they'll have 2 really star pitchers. The guy that's really been a surprise is that he hasn't done very well is Emilio Pagan.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can tell me about him. This is a guy that was there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And, he was unhittable. And he's come to San Diego, and he's been very hittable. And he's been struggled. His ERA is not very good. His ratio's not very good. He's not striking out hitters very much. So people have all kind of wondered what's gone wrong with Emilio Pagan. I think when the season started, they thought they'd have Kirby Yates pitch the 9th inning and Emilio Pagan pitch the 8th inning and win a bunch of games. And hasn't worked out that way, but the nice thing is you got A.J. Preller making moves and getting Trevor Rosenthal, and you got Pomeranz stepping up. So it looks like they're going to have a couple of guys at the end of the game now anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm shocked about Pagan. I'm like you, I am, because of course I'm here in the Tampa Bay area anyway, and I do watch the Rays. And he was lights out last year. It's just a mystery why he can't do so well. But I think eventually he'll get through it, hopefully, and help us. Because like you said, he's a good 8-inning guy, 9-inning guy, So, I mean, I think he'll come through it. I hope. But yeah, we'll see on that. And I know we got the trade deadline tomorrow. Do you see any more trades Preller making?
Yeah, there's a possibility that the Padres are in the running right now for Mike Clevenger, the starting pitcher for Cleveland, who left the team because he had the coronavirus. He tested positive and didn't tell anybody about it. I don't know if you remember this whole story, but he's an ace starting pitcher, and the Padres are right now in talks with Cleveland trying to get him. So we'll see if A.J. Preller wants to, add one more starting pitcher. I don't know that he wants to break up any of his young players and trade any more of his prospects. He's traded 4 prospects in the last couple of days to get Mitch Moreland and to get Trevor Rosenthal and to get Jason Castro. So I don't know if he wants to trade any more prospects, but Clevenger is a possibility. So I would never put it past A.J. Preller to make one more move before the trade deadline. Yes, that's the way he is. He never sleeps. He's always on the phone.
And that's what I like about him. He's been our best GM for since he took over. I mean, I'm happy to say that he's our GM compared to any other team in the majors right now. I asked Woods this last time I had him on the show last week. I asked him this. I know you're. Well, actually, I can say you kind of are, since you are the pre and post game radio, so you're kind of close with the TV guys over there. I gotta ask you, who do you think is the most funniest out of the TV guys? I gotta say Mudcat.
Yeah, Mark Grant's very funny. Don Orsillo's funny also. The two of them together do a good job. But Mark Grant's just naturally funny. He's in person. He's very funny. He's always smiling on his face, always laughing, always making a joke. So definitely would give Mark Grant the nod there. But Don Orsillo hangs in there, and they both have a lot of fun together. It's fun to listen to them do the games.
Definitely, I love it all the time. I tune in all the time, every night. But my last question to you is, before we let you go, is the difference between Chase Tingler and AJ Green.
Well, again, it's hard to tell because we haven't got to meet Chase Tingler that much. The only time we ever get to talk to him was on a Zoom chat. We did interview him a couple of times live when he was first hired. I don't think there's a big difference between the two of them, other than the fact that Chase Tingler's got a way better team. He has a way better team. He's still learning, how to do the job, and I think he's still, making some mistakes here and there. But for the most part, he's handled his players very well. But I think Andy Green did a pretty good job of that. Just Chase Tingler's got a better team. He's got better players. He's got a better team. He's got more depth. He's got more pitchers he can go to. He's got more players he can use. And so right now, Chase Tingler's looking very, very good. But ultimately, your players have to get the job done. I think otherwise, they're both pretty similar. They're both very prepared. They're both very knowledgeable about the game. Andy Green was really, really smart and knew a lot about baseball, maybe too much. Sometimes I think he would have been served him better to just relax a little bit and let the game kind of just play out. But I think Chase Tingler, very prepared and very smart. I just think, he looks better than Andy Green right now because he's got a way better team. That's all.
Oh yeah, and finish this sentence for us here at the show. The 2020 Padres season will be remembered for what? Past, present, future, whichever one. Just finish the sentence.
Well, I hope it's remembered for something that they do fantastic in the playoffs and knock out the Dodgers in the playoffs. I think that would be really tremendously exciting to everybody here. Winning a World Series would be so far off the chart exciting that that might be a little hard to predict. But I think they can get into the playoffs, win a couple of rounds of the playoffs. Somehow, if they can knock the Dodgers out of the postseason, that would make their year. I hope that they're not just remembered for the Grand Slams, but right now that's what they're going to be remembered for. Hopefully they have some more excitement in store down the road.
I hope so too. I really do. And like you, I want to see them beat the living hell out of the Dodgers and kick them out. I want those Dodgers out of the playoffs, and I want them eliminated by us. And then maybe
it would be fun.
And then face the Yankees and have a 98 World Series rematch.
Oh,
yeah, we owe.
I'd love that. Payback for the 98 World Series.
But
It took 22 years, but we'll take it.
Yes, definitely. But we thank you, Chris, for joining the show. We appreciate it. If there's any social media or follow for our fans that want to follow you, please give that to them and have at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just you can follow me on Twitter at ChrisElloSD, and you can listen to our radio show with myself and Tony Gwynn Jr. It's on 97.3 The Fan, and it's every afternoon at I guess it'd be 6 o'clock Tampa Bay time,
Yep.
but they're Tampa time. We're 3 o'clock in the afternoon out here, so you can just go to 973thefansd.com and click the listen live, and you can hear me and Tony Gwynn Jr., and we talk Padres all the time. So
I love it.
thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun, guys.
It was. Thank you. And we'd love to have you on again
Okay.
when I do the shows, if you don't mind. I'd love to have you on again.
We'll do a playoff thing.
There you go.
good luck and
There you go. I can't wait for it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good
Thanks,
night,
guys.
Chris.
Have a good night.
You too.
you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
What a great conversation, huh?
He's probably saying, "Damn Yankee."
Yeah, I know. He hates the Yankees just as much as I do from that 98 World Series. Been a Padre fan for years, he has.
Well, Yankees have destroyed many hopes and dreams of a lot of teams in the World Series. It is what it is. They've always had great teams, and this year's team is hurt right now. But I guarantee you, when it comes right down to it, when the bell rings and it's time to go in the playoffs, the Yankees will respond.
And unfortunately,
Eric Cole.
Unfortunately, I hate to agree with him, but if the Padres don't advance in the playoffs or go to the World Series and win it, unfortunately, the national media will just remember them, which sucks, for Slam Diego basically breaking that record. It sucks, but I think if we don't go far, that's what's going to happen. I agree with him on that.
Well, you got to go through the big dog, and the big dog is the Dodgers, and they have a very hefty payroll there, and they have Mookie Betts that's tearing it up, and the Dodgers are a force, man. And that's why the experts predicted the two best teams in Major League Baseball is the LA Dodgers and the New York Yankees. And the Yankees, once we get all our players back, we're going to be a team to beat. We're the favorites, and the Dodgers are the favorites. And if some young team like San Diego comes around and the Rays, young teams, they're a threat to the big, to the Dodgers and the Yankees. They are threats.
They are. And I'm looking forward to it. Like I told him, I want a World Series rematch. I want payback.
And, well,
That's
again,
what I want.
you're going to have to get through Garrett Cole, the best pitcher in baseball, and he's with us.
Well, I know, but we gotta get through the Dodgers first.
You got to get through the Dodgers first, and they're tearing it up. And it's funny. He mentioned that San Diego's after Clever. The Yankees are after Clever too.
Yeah, so we'll see who gets it. Yeah, we'll see who gets it.
Whoever gets him is definitely going to profit.
But
he's a good pitcher.
Like he said, though, Preller has given up 4 good prospects already. I don't know if he wants to get rid of more to help the team. To win in the future. I don't know if he wants. I don't know if he wants to do that.
It's going to be a big price tag for him. He's a great pitcher, and imagine him pitching on a great team. If a Dodgers or a Yankees, you put him on a better team than Cleveland, and you put him behind a Cole, it's going to be lights out. Pitching and defense wins World Series.
But yeah, definitely. But have it before we go? Do you have any final thoughts on how the show went? How you liked it?
You know what? I stole that from Jerry Springer when I started the Tampa Bay Thunderstrikers show 4 years ago. And I like that. I was like, all right, guys, I need to know your final thoughts. And I've been using that, and I love it. The Islanders just scored. It is 2-1 Islanders now over Philly. Let's see. My final thought is this is a good show. It's got a lot of potential. You get some good hosts. I know you're big into baseball. I am too. I just, by trade, I'm more of a hockey guy right now, covering the NHL and covering the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's what I love to do. But, if you get me involved in a baseball show, I'll talk baseball. If you get me involved in a football atmosphere in the NFL, I could tell you all day that my Giants own Tom Brady. So Tom Brady better thank his lucky stars that Eli Manning's no longer quarterback to the New York Giants right now.
Yeah, that's
because Eli owned Tom Brady, and now you're Giants have a good team. I don't know if we're going to play football this year, but if we do, I think the Giants are going to shock people. They're going to be better than what everybody's thinking. Really, really good show. I was impressed with both guests. Like I said, I can adjust and I can talk sports with everybody on any subject. It's just my preference is hockey, obviously, with the NHL, and of course working for the Lightning, doing what I do with community and stuff like that.
And that's why I'm with you, because I love talking Bulls. Even though I talk everything here, I love talking Bulls too. They've been my team for years, so I just love it.
We're gonna have the show on Tuesday night, and we're gonna tell everybody what to expect for the Friday night shows. And like I said, I'm ready to go. I do this for a living. I do the Sunday show with my producer. I do Tuesday's show with you, and you get a break on Fridays to go about your family business, which is very important and priority.
Yep. That's right.
I just live with 2 kitty cats, and if you were watching the whole show, I'm sure you saw both cats.
Yep.
I brought both of them on. My baby boy, that's 21 pounds, he took up the whole screen, and I had to get him off my lap because he was taking up the whole screen. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you for the invitation, and
you're welcome.
I want to thank you. It's a good show. I always seen a lot of potential in you, and together working as a team, talking sports, and putting the rivalries aside. We have a lot of mutual respect for each other.
Hell yeah!
And we don't fight like other fans do. We don't. There's a lot of people that I go at bump heads with on a lot of issues. One of the issues that I told you about is people have a problem with you having 2 teams, you rooting for 2 teams. I'm strongly against that. I don't believe in that. I work for the Lightning, but I've been an Islander fan since '72, since they started. They're my birth team, and I'm not going to give up either team. When it comes down to a potential Islander Tampa Bay Lightning series, which is very, very possible right now, People ask me who you gonna root for? Who are you gonna root for in that situation, in that scenario, if it comes out? Well, I root for both teams. So you know what? It's a win-win for me. If the Islanders win, I can brag. Hey, my team won. My birth team won. Yeah. If the Lightning win, I could brag. I could say, hey, my community team won. There is no losing in that. If you have two teams and they're going against each other, you would do the same thing, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's why we said on Tuesday. I mean, we're allowed to. It's a free country. We're allowed to have our teams. I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly. You have the Rays. You have the Padres. First and foremost, you have the Padres. First and foremost. Obviously, being an Islander fan, I watched the Islanders win 4 cups in a row. That'll never ever
happen
rematch
again. Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I witnessed it, and I was there. So I got a nice history of watching the Islanders dynasty team. I watched the Lightning win in 2004, and now this year I'm going to watch them hoist the cup up again this year, hopefully. And if not, it'll be the Islanders. Those are my 2 teams, and those are the 2 teams that I root for. So hopefully, one out of the 2 are going to hoist that cup.
That's right. That's right. I'm with you on that. But it was a great show. I appreciate it. Thank you again, Joe. The show will be in good hands, guys. I promise you, it ain't going to be steer clear. But yeah, I can't wait to come back in 2 months. Be back, but it's going to be in good hands. It's not going to be left out in the dust, so don't worry. It's going to be in good hands. Thanks again, Joe. We will have more information. Follow the Thunder Strikers on Tuesday nights. I'll be there, so we'll tell you more about it on Tuesday. But thank you again, Joe. I appreciate it. It was a fun show. And thank you to our guests, Bobby Livingston and Chris Ello. It was one heck of a show.
Yeah, you should be proud because it's a good show, and you're taking a break, but when you come back, the show's gonna still be here, and I'm gonna be here, and my cats are gonna be here.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Yeah, well, it's a win-win, and let's face it, a lot of people that I've seen that are watching your show generally watch my show.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they're going to tune in to my show, they're going to tune into your show, and they're going to get educated, and, we're going to ask questions, we're going to get details, and that's what we're about. So,
exactly.
Thank you, Byron.
No problem, anytime.
Having me on your show. And the roles will be reversed on Tuesday night.
Yeah, definitely. But looking forward to it. But you have a good night, all right? Stay safe with your cats.
You might want to get some wings next time, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there early because it's on you said, remember?
Yeah. So, if that's what it takes to get you there earlier, I will definitely do that.
I will do that. I'll get there early.
All right. Thank you very much. Don't forget to watch on Tuesday night for
Definitely.
the Tampa Bay Thunder Strikers live at Snappers Bar, Grill, and Comedy Club on US 19 in Palm Harbor, Florida for the Great Wings Dollar Taco Night. We'll be there at Snappers on Tuesday night, so come and join us. And I'm sure you're going to take it and put it onto your wall, right?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I will certainly do that. Awesome. Stay safe. Have a good night, Joe, all right? Thanks again.
Do the same.
You too.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Okay.